Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyanatmani Mayaya Bahirivot Bhutam Yatha Nidraya Yat Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Chandra, please increase the... I'm not getting enough feedback. It's kind of like dead. No, this is on. Hello, hello, hello. Hello.
Yeah, the speakers are off for some reason.
I think she's gone to get Richa. Hopefully Richa is still around. She just left. Ah, there she is. Help is on the way. Hello. 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 Okay, good.
Do you want these lights on or do you want the lights off?
I'd like to keep them on. My find it a little dark, if that's okay.
It's cooler now, so I think we can afford to have the lights. So now we are getting into the heart of the subject matter. It's not as though we weren't dancing around it, but now I think we're ready for an assault, sort of to speak. So what we were doing last time was we were analyzing the elements and causes of sukha. So we said there were 4 normal ways. There are probably more than that, but 4 ones that appealed to Swami Akhandananda. Bhoga. And the second one is what is called Manorajya. Imagination, which means hope, belief, looking forward to. Because the mind is funny. You can infuse in it the elements that have elements of sukha. You can infuse in it. And so, just by, this is why it says hope is such a beautiful thing. Hopelessness it means that nothing really has changed. Imagine. This is the thing, it's really our approach towards ourselves, the life, and so on is so mental. It's just amazing. Like, for example, it's if one has a physical injury, then it can be excused that you don't have a you don't have a happy state of mind because you are so involved with the pain and, that's okay. But why do we feel pain if we have nothing going on with us but with somebody else, like a child or a close one and so on? How does that happen? And it is not, I think all the acharyas used to say that suppose, God forbid, you have a very close person who has met an accident, very severe accident, or possibly has passed away. Does that give you any dukkha? It doesn't. Until the news comes. Just imagine, this has such truth hidden in it. It's just amazing. So it is a reality to you, to your mind, that creates all the things. Not the actual accident. If you have a loved one who's suffering somewhere because of an accident and crying out for help, and you're having a nice party, that can very well be happens all the time. Not all the time, it can happen. So it is really just mental. How we create things for ourselves and put a kind of an adhyaropa on it. This is the nature of dukkha. And sukha. Sukha is the same way. I started talking about infusing. So the infusing is that you decide that this will make me happy. So manorajya is important from that perspective, that even hope, that was the thing I was coming off of it. So hope and hopelessness, they're not real. This is like the news of a loved one having an accident. You create a condition and saying, I think this is going to be okay. Who's doing that? It is your own self that is infusing some ananda in the thought that this will be okay. So the hope becomes a reflection of you which I think it was Swami Chinmayanji that gave this example. I can't believe this is hard to even talk about it. He says, do you know what happens to dogs when they're chewing on dry bone? You know what happens? The drier the bone, the more angles it has, sharp things and so on, it lacerates the mouth of the dog, and it enjoys its own blood. You believe that? I mean, I still remember when Swami Chinmayananda gave this example, I said, what? But it's true. This is exactly what happens. So hope, just look at the hope. This is a very sophisticated version of the dog story. But what happens is that you decide that I think this is going to turn out very well. I have a feeling this looks good to me. So in this process, what you're doing is, where is the ananda coming from? We have to really, if you're Yes, all this Acharya say this, Swami Akhananda says that Vedanta is for people who are very, very intelligent, number one, and they do not have the ego to say, I'm going to do this on my own. Follow the guidelines of the Shastra, but do it very intelligently. So in this particular case, just look at the hope. These are all very subtle things that we have to do. Atma is extremely subtle. You cannot approach it without a non-subtle mind. And so, just look at how hope is done. Think about it. Vicharam, thoughts, enquiry is the only way to achieve total happiness. Vicharam na sahate. It is a very famous statement. What is not tolerated is the enquiry into Dvaita. There is no Dvaita. Dvaita is a notion, Advaita is the reality. And it requires vichara. And we will begin to do that. That's what we are doing now. There is another version of that which is avicharita siddham dvaitam. You want to make a note of that? Avicharita siddham dvaitam. Dvaitam means what we were talking earlier about Sankhya. That as long as there is something else, there is fear. Only when only you are there, there is comfort. As long as there is someone else, even if it's friendly or non-friendly, it doesn't matter. If it's friendly, that means this is potentially non-friendly. Swami Akhananda says, my life shows, my experiences shows, this is what they say about politics. There is no permanent enemy, no permanent friend. Swamiji says, I'm telling you, in my life, I have seen people I consider to be friends, they turned against me. And vice versa. People who I thought were disagreeing with me and so on, I felt that they had a very good point and we became very good. So, really speaking, you cannot depend on that. So what happens, let's do the analysis of hope. Manorajya, that's the second sukha. What happens there is that you infuse your mind with the thought, I think it is going to be okay. And the mind is a kind of like a child, or you can say a domestic help. There's we have a student in the Bay Area, and I used to teach, when I was teaching classes before the COVID, she would come and sit there all the time. And so one time she approached me and says, Vijayji, I would like you not to use this word again. So I said, which one? So I used to say servants. I says, supposing you have servants and so on and so forth. She says, Swamiji, Vijayji, please don't use servant. And it took me a little while. Now I say domestic help, something, some the other, but she reacted to that and so on. So I said, okay, I'll try my best to do that. So, so you infuse your mind and say, the mind is like a domestic help. It says, okay, you want me to be happy? Why? He says, I think that this is going to turn out okay. This is buddhi. Buddhi says, I thought about this, I think this is going to be. Right now I'm not in very good shape, but I think that this is going to be okay. The mind says, sure? Yeah, sure. Okay. So the mind also becomes happy. This is the element of hope. You are doing it. Then you say, oh my God, what a disaster. Why did I invest in this? This is just ridiculous. The mind says, no, I think it should be okay. No, no, no. What are you talking about? Just listen to me. Wow, we are ruined, you and I. The mind says, okay, if you say so. Nothing has really changed. You know? Nothing has changed, but your thinking has really done this. So this is a very interesting example. Yeah, just look at this. This is an example where the basic happiness emanates from you and you modulate it. This is exactly what happens in a movie. Because, so imagine that the steady light is also Ananda, which it is in the case of our case, but not in the case of the physical structure of the movie. But just imagine, this by the way is a very important thing. I keep saying this is important as though some other things are not important. No, but it really needs to, your mind needs to wrap up with this, which I will develop it further. So what happens is that in a movie, the light, the steady, strong light of the movie projector, or whatever it is the one that infuses its reflection with the light. We hadn't completely done this technical analysis, and I will not leave you until I do that, but exactly that's what happens. The light of the projector is modulated by the film to create a semblance of light and darkness. This, by the way, is crucial. Crucial. So what happens is, if you want to just pursue this for just a few minutes, and then we'll come back to what we were talking about earlier. They're not different, just different ways of looking at it. Just imagine what happens to the movie. Analyze the movie process, the phenomena. That's the word I was looking. The movie phenomena. In the movie phenomena, there is one steady, strong light. You will not believe until you understand how strong your light of awareness is. You have no idea. You should at least get some semblance of it by just seeing. I know. Do you think that this I know is just yours? You think that same I know that you have is not the same that I have? Do you know that I know This is what is called jnanam. Jnanam. Jnanam doesn't mean a knowledge of necessarily. You know, when we're talking about, I have the knowledge. When you say, I know. Supposing somebody says, hey, do you know? I know. So you say, you know what? No, I just know. No, please complete the sentence. You know what? No, I don't want to complete the sentence. I know. It wouldn't make any sense. So somehow, we think that when you say, I know, there has to be an object. Or know what? The reality is, if a person says, I know, there doesn't have to be an object. You know why? Because if you analyze it, just think about this. If you want, just close your eyes for a second. I know is Paramatma. And that Paramatma permeates in all of us. This is called jnanam. Not jnanam of something, just jnanam. I knownness. I know. It's not a quality. It is Swarupa. It's its own nature. I know. This I know, this Brahman. I know. You can even add, you cannot say I know unless you are. I am. I know. This is not individual, don't you see? You move your head. There's no difference in I know. It's like Akasha. This is Chidakasha, Chit Swarupam Akasha. I know. Ananta. It cannot go. Doesn't go anywhere. My goodness. This is how powerful this light is. Your movie light is very, very tiny and vulnerable. You can switch it off. This you cannot switch off. Just see that. It's timeless. I know. It is no form. And it is not away from you. Really, I think we can close the whole thing. You are done. Done, honestly. There's nothing more to be done. This is it. Tattvamasi. So that presence of reality, but in the sense of I know, It's interesting. I had, I think about a couple of years ago, I decided I'm going to send out a questionnaire to my students in California, and so some of you may remember this. So I says, tell me, answer the following few questions. The first question was, is it true that you are alive? The statement that I am alive, is this the truth? This is what I had sent out. And I think very few people said that they had the right answer. They all said yes. Yes. The answer is false. You are not alive. You know why is it false? What is the falseness of it? The word alive is false. The truth is, I am. There is no aliveness or death in I know. This is Parameshwara. And that Parameshwara don't possible to think it is someplace else. It can only be you. It can only be Drik. Can never be Drishya. And if it is a Drishya, because there is some presence of Drishyatvam, then what is it? Do you know what it is? It is like the same thing as a movie on a screen. And the movie on a screen, the light of the movie of the screen is whose light is it? It's the light of the steady light alone. It's not some independent source. Even though it is fluctuating, but the fluctuation is nothing but the reflection of the real light, which is you, which is the light of the movie. This is what Drik is. So the Drishya is nothing but a superimposition on the Drik. It is a reflection. The reality is you. So going back to the example of the hope. So don't you see that when you say, I'm hopeful, it makes you happy? It's your own happiness. It is like the dog. And so, the falsity of sukha, as we saw, the 4 different sukhas, you should see the falsity of it. The falsity is that it is just a form, just a reflection. But the basic material, the upadana karanam, is different from the sukha. Sukha means what? Sukha means a particular fun, a particular pleasure is called sukha. Various forms of, we saw the 4 different forms. But those are particular forms that emanate from a common source in different ways. Sometimes hope, sometimes hopelessness, sometimes bhoga, and all the other ones, the abhimana. As I was telling you, that for a number of years, I just felt very good. Very, very felt that I am now on the right path and I have really, it had some reasons for doing that. Because I had sacrificed a lot together with my spouse. She sacrificed a lot, I sacrificed a lot. I was very brave. I gave up my job at the top of, no, I won't say the top, but I was doing well. I gave that up. And I took a temporary sannyasa. And when I learned a lot from Swamiji. Not as much as I should have, but I did. And so that gave me an abhimana, which felt very good for 15 years. Really. I would walk around and I'd look at everybody and say, oh my God, they have no idea how much I know, what I know. This is just so wonderful. What is it? This is a sukha. Swamiji is absolutely right. I have the experience of it. It was a sukha of abhimana. Even though I had not tasted my own sukha. It was my own sukha, but it was like a dog who was just enjoying its own blood. So the reality of sukha can only be done if you understand what is the underlying substance from which the sukha is born. That is what you need to do. And when we proceed along these lines, you will see that I know, I am, and I am Purnaha. That is the underlying material for I hope, I don't hope, I am enjoying. Both sukha, dukkha, dukkha and sukha both. As we will see later, even mrityu becomes your own reflection, cannot touch you. When we say mrityave swaha, means once I understand nothing, because mrityu is also a drishya. Mrityu is also a drishya. That also dissolves. But you don't know it. You're afraid of it. So the analysis of Sukham is to point out that underneath there is a material which is the basis of it all. So this is what is called the basic material, which is called Upadana Karanam. So now, to understand this so that the doubts of your mind can be addressed, there is a methodology. This is what is called prakriya. It's called prakriya. Okay? So now let us go through this prakriya. This is what I was talking about, the heart of it all. Okay? So, This prakriya should take three forms. So this is the prakriya, also called pranali, of finding the ultimate upadana karanam. Because if the forms of sukha are false, and the word false means, then why do you say it is false? The word false should mean something that it is not. If you want to just, in fact, I want to do one other thing before I go into these three prakriyas. All right? I think that would be better. Let's do it that point. And I've hinted at it before, and have not really tackled it. So let's do that. And what this is that if you want to understand the basic material, then follow the Shastra to see what the basic material looks like. What are the qualities? What is a lakshana? It's called lakshana. So lakshana means something which is unique. Nothing else has that except for this. It's called lakshana. So what is the lakshana of this basic upadana karanam? The basic upadana karanam is you, the Atma. And I have it covered up so I don't see myself. I have a false idea about myself. So because of that, the basic gunas of the Atma are covered up. What are the basic gunas? So Swami Akhandananda actually points out 8 of them. So let's go look at these. This is called eightfold gunas of the Atma. This is what is talked about in verse number 13 or 14 of Shweta Shvatara Upanishad. Okay. So now, before telling you these 8, which I'm going to do now, what it means is, this is the goal. This is where we want to reach. This is the direction we want to go. So to go in that direction, make sure that your life, your behavior, your attitudes, your beliefs, your actions, your transactions are in that direction. For your own sake, not anybody else's sake. Make sure that you are headed in that direction. If you're not, then pause, change. Because if you're trying to go in a direction, but you're taking the wrong way. What are those 8 gunas that point out, this is where I want to go? What are the gunas of the Atma? Swamiji gives them these 8 explanations. First one is what he called komalta. Komalta means gentleness, as opposed to kathorata. Kathorata means you're like a rock that doesn't change. One which is very solid, very set. Flexibility. Not more than that flexibility. Komalta means gentleness. Gentleness in everything. Gentleness in, and all of these gunas have various ways to look at it and so on. But gentleness in talk, gentleness in thinking, komalta. We can spend more time, but we have to go a lot of details, so We'll look at that. Number one, komalta. The second one is aparadha. Aparadha related means forgiveness. Forgiveness. It's okay. It's okay. And it just cools down your whole anger and so on and so forth. So this is really, it is a very beautiful thing that, again, Swami Dayanandaji had also pointed this out. That, just look at this. If suppose you were to get angry at something, so the anger hurts someone. Anger is meant to hurt someone, either physically or even mentally or something. But here's the interesting thing. Before it hurts someone else, it hurts you. This is really interesting. And we don't realize it. You cannot hurt someone else before you hurt yourself. You destroy your own peace. And the forgiveness is just the opposite of that. You may forgive someone else either through an intended action or an overt or a covert action. But before you forgive somebody else, you become calmer. It is really meant for, this is the Atma Guna. It doesn't matter. One of the Atma Guna is, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's all right. Let it be. And you have to grow into it. I'm very happy I'm growing like that. I never used to be like that. Forgiveness was also not easy for me. But I'm getting more forgiving. I'm getting more gentle. I'm getting more, all those kinds of things. So this is number 2. Okay? Third one is pavitrata. Purity. Pavitrata. Pavitrata means, and there's a very famous saying in English also, cleanliness is godliness. Pavitrata means, and pavitrata in all aspects, in hygiene, in mental thinking, be pavitra, be pure, clean. Pavitrata. Again, I think we have to go that. Fourth one is Mangala Bhava. Mangala Bhava. Mangala Bhava means Mangalam. This word itself has a lot of different. Mangalam means kind of relatively satisfied and happy. Have a smile. So these are the qualities of the Atma, which are yours. But you have covered it up because of some reasons, reasonable reasons, but you've covered it up. So the Mangala Bhava means, this is interesting. I think Swami Dayananda used to, he says, when you look at this, you start observing people. Supposing you meet someone, you will see either their face is in a scowl, or they just have a general smile. They may not say anything to you, but usually they'll say, "Hi, how are you?" But they have a gentle smile. This is Mangala Bhava. And yet you find, Swami Dayananda used to say this all the time. He says, I see people talking to themselves, either visibly or just say, I don't know. What's happening? Why is it happening? This, that, or the other. Why am I doing? They're talking to themselves and getting themselves into more problem, arguing with themselves, arguing with the world. And so, just having a gentle disposition, general disposition of Mangalam is a number 4. Number 5 is Aspriha. Aspriha means intense attachment. Spriha. It's an interesting example. I don't know who gave this. Somewhere I saw this. That, supposing you are a Republican and you were happy to elect a president from your party. Okay? And this president is doing some funny stuff, bad stuff, this, that, or the other. So you tell someone, aren't you a Republican? You say, yeah. But what about this guy? He says, no, I don't like what he's doing, but should you still vote Republican? Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to give this up. I'm a lifetime Republican. Should you not be more reasonable? Don't become a Democrat. Not necessary to do that. Actually, quite frankly, I used to be a Democrat. I'm now changing. Maybe I should become something else. So this is called spriha. You just mindlessly support something and get attached to it and says, and this is just one example, but you belong to many causes that you discover they are not that good a cause, but you said, you know what, this is what I'm attached to. This is called spriha. To aspriha, the Atma's role is, it is not attached to anything. Asangoham. So the number 5 is aspriha. Number 6 is non-miserliness, akarpanyam. Akarpanyam. Miserliness. Miserliness means what? Miserly means is you have some capability, you have some money, you have some assets, but you don't want to spend it. Someone may need it, you may need it. Spend it on yourself. No, I don't know. Okay, then give it to somebody else. What? So you die with a big bank balance. And usually, as Swami Dayananda used to say, your brother-in-law gets it all. So, miserliness. And I think as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, as Arjuna says, karpanyoham apahata, something like that in the... Huh? Karpanya dosha apahats svabhavaha. You know what that is? Karpanyam, as talked in the Bhagavad Gita, which applies to all of us. We have Paramatma as myself. And it is an enormous capability of peace, of ananda. But for whatever reasons, we don't spend it. We don't own it. We don't use it. People, all of us, I don't know how I somehow got out of it, but you spend the whole life on useless things, achieving nothing. When you actually have a huge amount of valuables right inside of you, invoke it. So, akarpanyam, generosity. Be generous in the way you spend. Even tipping, for example. You know, my spouse is an interesting example. She over tips. I'll say, but everybody will say, why'd you tip that much? She says, he needs more than I do. And our argument is, you are spoiling it because then everybody else has. She says, I don't care. Sometimes she split half of what she spends, she just gives it to somebody and says, just take it. I'm not that generous as she is. But this is a quality which is very beautiful. Generosity. Okay, then the number 7 is, what we have talked about is anayasa. Anayasa means the opposite of ayasa. Ayasa means effort, useless actions, getting involved with projects which take a long time and take a lot of your time, look at a lot of your effort to do. Just don't do that. This is not Atma. When there was time to do Sat in the first 2 ashrama, yes, that was appropriate. But now that you've got some money, you're ready to retire, and now do not get into any projects. Anayasa. Number 7. And the last one is parasya adoshanam. Parasya adoshanam means people have such beautiful qualities, but you not only don't see them, you look at the opposite way. You look at the opposite way. You just look at it and say, well, I don't know, it's just, he looks very impressive, but I doubt whether he really knows. He looks very happy, but deep down below, I think he's got some problems that he's hiding. Stuff like that, unnecessarily. So this is a very important, all of these are important, but this is also, so when we do gossip, this is the reason for the gossip. Because what happens is, the reason we do gossip is we have a low opinion about ourselves, but we feel better if we criticize somebody else. Then temporarily our own shortcomings are forgotten and you feel better. In some sense, it is not any different from a happy hour. Okay? Because when you go to a happy hour, you know what happens? What is the reason for the happy hour? The reason for the happy hour is that we go through the life with a common Shruti in the background. Just like we have this, you're singing bhajans and there is an outside Shruti, there is an inside Shruti. All throughout the life. All is not well with me. Not all is, I'm not very happy. See, look at this, look at that, not happy. And we often say, shut up. But the Shruti does not shut up. It's just in the background. I'm telling you, it is not all well. Things are, and it goes up and down and so on. And we get so tired of it that we have found a good way to spend hour and a half when the drinks are half off. And by the way, this is so interesting. Have you ever noticed this? Supposing you have to buy samosas for yourself. These are big dried samosas, big fried samosas with nothing but potatoes. There's no protein. It's all and so on and so forth. You won't buy it. Do you ever go and buy any samosas? No, you don't. You go to sorry, but you go to a party and there are samosas sitting there with a imli chutney right next to it. You just say, forget it. And your Shruti says, you shouldn't be eating this. This is not good. This is not good food. And you say, shut up. I don't care. Instead of it. And you should just, okay, maybe you should take one. You say, it's a party. How often you go to a party every day? What are you talking about? 2 samosas. And you are actually thinking of a third one, but somehow you say, okay. So this is you criticize someone. This is exactly like a happy hour. For a little while you feel better. Hey, have you seen that lady? Kind of clothes that she wears? But I don't know where she buys it. What kind of a taste you have? How did she grow up like this? For about 10 minutes you feel, I am not like that. I really have good taste. I have good, and so on and so forth. You talk to the other lady and see what she thinks about you. Then you'll find out. Anyway, I think we're running out of time. We didn't even get into the prakriya of Advaita Vedanta. We will do that tomorrow morning. But so just to complete this, what it means is that all these 8 gunas, this is the beautiful part of it. This is very interesting. All these 8 gunas, you do not have to acquire from outside. They are your inherent qualities already. This is Atma's qualities. Instead, you're just doing the opposite of denying it. So this is what is this. This is a beautiful example of adhyaropa apavada. These are coverings. If you just remove the coverings, then the basic material is very beautiful. You're already Ananda. You're already gentle. It's not as though you have to become gentle. You just have to remove the non-gentleness. That's it. This is the beauty of it. And then you're going in the right direction. Okay, I think it's time. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om